Hi everyone. I know it's been a long time since I posted on here. Part of it was I was really busy. I was doing something different at work and it resulted in me being constantly stressed and it just wasn't good for me. So I've gone back to teaching full time, which means I have more energy. And I also didn't really know what to talk about because to me, everything here seems normal, so I forgot what people back home might find new. But I went home for Christmas, and I would talk about things that I thought were normal, and people would be like, wait, what's that? And I had to be like, oh, right. So I'm going to try to remember to keep this up because there's a lot of interesting things about Vietnam that people would like to learn about. First thing I'm going to talk about for the new year, happy 2013, is breakfast. And Vietnamese breakfast is, to us, it's kind of like dinner. So there's like 3 traditional Vietnamese breakfasts and then 2 like Western style breakfasts. So I'm going to start with the traditional Vietnamese ones. First of all, the very, very famous food, Harper wants to say hello. The very, very famous food from Vietnam, pho. Most of you probably pronounce it as pho. It's spelled P-H-O. It is not pronounced like that. It's pronounced pho. Just kind of think you're saying the F word and then stop before the K. And it's, for us, it's awesome for lunch or dinner. It's, for those of you who don't know about pho, it's just noodle soup with flat rice noodles and chicken or beef, or you can do like all kinds of meat. Try fish balls, whatever. Fish balls, by the way, are little meatballs of ground up fish, just to clarify. And then you put all kinds of herbs in it. Thai basil, cilantro, not so much cilantro, but green onions, white onions, a couple of leafy things that I don't know what they are, and bean sprouts and lime juice, and pho is very, very tasty. And you can put lots of different things in it to make it however you like it. But we would think of that as a lunch or dinner food, and actually it's a traditional breakfast in Vietnam. A lot of people eat pho for breakfast. Next one is also a noodle soup. It's called bún bò. And the most famous version of it is bún bò Huế, which is very spicy. It has lots of chili in it. I don't like it too much, so I usually eat bún bò. And again, I like this for lunch, but it's a very common breakfast. So bún bò is rice noodles, but they're like very thin. They're like vermicelli noodles. And it's always beef because the bò is beef, and it's a red broth. Pho is like a clear broth, but bún is like a red broth, and it's got a lot of the oil from the animal fat in it, so it tastes a little richer. And it might have tomatoes in it, or tofu, or a couple of leafy things, but not as much. It's more of a meaty soup than pho. And it tastes okay for breakfast. Sometimes I'll eat that for breakfast. But again, it's actually a favorite lunch food of mine. I just have to be really careful because when you eat Vietnamese noodle soup, you should slurp because it's very hot, so you're trying to cool it down. And it's also a sign of, this is delicious if you slurp. And I tend to suffer from noodle whiplash when I slurp. So I go, or like it'll flip down and it'll get the reddish broth on my shirt. So if I'm working that day, I'm not happy. I try not to eat bún bò. Let's see. You can also add chili to pho, but again, I'm not a fan of it. And the third traditional Vietnamese breakfast is broken rice, or cam dam. I'm probably saying that wrong. Broken rice is just white rice grains that have been broken in half. So that's all there really is. I have no idea how they do it or how it changes the taste. Maybe it's a little more moist. It doesn't dry out the way white rice does. But it's just normal rice broken in half. And it's served with a barbecued pork chop and a fried egg. The fried egg is optional. I always get mine with an egg. Green onions, some pickled vegetables, tomato slices and cucumber slices, and fish sauce. Okay? This is the one that I eat for breakfast. Every Sunday before I go to school, there's a woman outside my apartment complex that makes this. It's so good. And she only charges like $1 and 25 cents extra for the egg. So every Sunday, this is my breakfast. And the pork chop is marinated in fish sauce and like maybe a couple of spices, and then barbecued over charcoal. And it's very flat and very tender and very easy to eat, even without a knife and fork. And then, let's see, then she puts on this green onions and the pickled vegetables and everything. And then she fries an egg for me in pork fat. So it's very tasty. It tastes amazing. If you eat this at a restaurant, they always give you fish sauce with it. And good fish sauce has like a little bit of honey or sugar and vinegar added to it. If you just eat plain fish sauce out of the bottle, it doesn't taste that great. And with like good fish sauce over the pork and the rice, it's just awesome. It's one of my favorite Vietnamese meals, and it's so simple, but it's one of my favorites. So I'll have to try and restrain myself long enough to take a picture of it next Sunday when I get it and try to post that for you guys. So we're at 7 minutes. I'm going to sign off for today, and for next week I'll talk about Western breakfast and a little bit about lunch and dinner, some other foods that I really like. All right, thanks. Bye.